Hi and welcome to this video, which is a guide to helping you complete your This Is Me guide. The This Is Me guide is very challenging, but I urge you to go deep. I urge you to take your time and to put in a good effort here. It's designed, the whole of the journaling process is designed around the This Is Me guide, and everything you're going to reflect on as you go is probably going to be interwoven into this. This guide is never going to be perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's an evolving document. You can change, evolve it as you come, as you go, as you learn. Every quarter we're going to take a chance to revisit it in detail. And each day I'm going to ask you to reflect on it. Throughout this video I've used the example of a high performing athlete. I've showed you their This Is Me guide and their examples. You don't need to be as detailed as this athlete, but you might wish to be. You can use things like YouTube, Google for some of the questions, for ideas, concepts. Take your time, go into it in detail and really understand that this isn't about making something that's perfect. It's about making something that's true to who you are, who you want to be, and it'll act as an anchor or a North Star as you move forward. And every day you can come back to it as a kind of a source for guidance, and that's what it's designed for, really. So best of luck. The first prompt or question you're asked is the areas of life that is most important to you. Here I give you a little bit of an example to kind of, not to tell you what to write, but just to give you ideas. Things like family might be important to you. Sport is obviously important to you. Studies, career, spirituality, your faith could be really important to you. Friendships could be important to you. We use this question so it can act as a guide to where we want to spend our time and energy and what areas of our lives are really important. I heard a quote saying the most important thing is to keep the most important thing the most important thing. So I want you to take a bit of time to see what areas of your lives are most important to you, and just write a little list there, and we'll be referencing that throughout the journaling process. In the modern world we hear a lot about values. I believe values are really important because once we're clear on our values, it becomes clear on how we want to act and behave. And that clarity can drive informed action, and I think that's really important. It's a challenging exercise to establish your values. It's not a simple exercise. They will evolve. Mine has evolved. My personal values are evolving currently. Here is a list of a number of values. What I'd ask you to do is just take a look and maybe draw up 6 or 7 that appeal to you. Look at them and then pull it down into 3 or 4. When you get to 3 or 4 values, just start writing down what the behaviours might look like for that values, or explore the depth of that value. And again, here's an example of this athlete we referenced before. He wants to be accountable, curious, present and authentic, and he's written down the explanations. You can take a look at that example, but again, don't use other people's examples. Again, you can use YouTube or whatever, to Google, to come up with something that's simple and that's true and authentic to who you are at this moment in time and who you want to be. Personal mission statement is a simple, short sentence or set of sentences which just guide you in the direction that you want to focus. It kind of encapsulates who you are, who you want to be, and how you want to behave and act. It will incorporate your values and will be aligned to it. And it's just kind of something you could read every day to come back and see now you've been true to who you want to be and how you want to act. Again, it is aligned to your values. It's not a million miles removed from it, but it's a little short snippet of that person. It could be 2 lines, 3 lines. Here we see again the example from the high performing athlete of their mission statement. You can take a read of that for yourself. I just want you to reflect on the value that sport adds to your life and what it means to you. Maybe what it means to those around you that you play with or play for, that you represent. What value it gives your life. Simple things like that. What it means to you and what you're getting out of it. And again, we'll see this athlete's example. You can take a moment to read it, and again, write down some simple things of why you play sport, what you get from it, what it means to you, and that's it. So the question here is, how do you want to be remembered by those you played with and against? And you're kind of, imagine you're coming to the last day of your career and what do you want people to say about you. The people you played with, but also the people you played against. Sportsmanship might be important to you. And if it is, it's really important that you make that clear now and understand what that looks like. Those you play with, what are the words you want them to use when they describe you as someone they played with? Again, we see the example from the high-performing athlete. They're obviously well considered, they're thought through. And once that level of detail and consideration is established, well, then the behaviours become very, very clear. And once we're clear on our behaviours, our actions are, simpler to it's simpler to navigate. So this question is aligned to the last question. So what vision do you have for yourself as a teammate? And what are the words and maybe actions that will describe the type of teammate you want to be? Loyalty, leader, effort, encouraging. There's loads of examples there. And I would use a little bit of explanation for each word, going through the little detail, what it might look like. I think once you're clear on this again, your actions become a lot simpler, it's a lot clearer, and you're just always kind of coming back to that person you want to be. As human beings, we're designed to drift a lot, so it's really valuable to have clarity on who you want to be and how you want to act. Here we're talking about your weapons, or you might use the phrase your signature strengths. That's what's your natural talents. They could be physical, they could be technical, they could be tactical, they could be leadership or teamship talents. It's important to know what you're strong at, your strengths, and then multiply those strengths, bring those strengths to the playing field and to training every day. And because that's what makes you uniquely you. So I think it's really important to know why the coach might be choosing you to play, or why they might be choosing you to represent the team. And once we're clear on knowing what we're strong at, our strengths, our weapons, our signature strengths, it's about delivering them every day and consistently. Some athletes never get to that depth. They don't know what makes them good, and therefore they can't kind of multiply that. So, for example, if speed was a weapon, well, your challenge is to use your speed every day you go out on the pitch. If communication was your weapon, your challenge is to be the best communicator on the field every day. Every player, every athlete in a team or individual brings the best of themselves, and this adds a chemistry which develops team environment. So know what you're good at, bring it every day. I use the phrase, I think I got it from Andy Friend, rugby coach, weapons and work-ons. So work-ons are the things that you're working on. These could be physical, technical, tactical, it could be lifestyle, it could be mental skills. It's like a personal improvement plan. It's really important to know how you're getting better and get better at getting better. So your work-ons, be very, very clear. And then you might set a list of goals and you might track them goals. We look at goal setting and tracking in another video, but for now, just what is it you're working on? Now you might need to get input on that from a coach, from a trusted teammate or somebody. How am I getting better? So your work-ons could be, something like a bench press. It could be anything. Again, we see the example from this high-performing athlete. You can take a look, it'll give you an idea. I would say that in sport, our only sustainable competitive advantage is to learn faster than the opponents or those we compete with and against. So I'm a big believer in tools. So tools to help us learn faster and improve and perform better. And there's a load of tools we can develop. We can develop a personal improvement plan for the 5 pillars of the athlete, or a growth map, you could call it. You could develop a kind of a My Route to Performance type map. They're simple tools. You could develop kind of a reflection or performance analysis tool. You could measure yourself in a number of areas. Now we'll have a video with other tools as part of in the resource section, so you can check out that video. There's loads of other tools we can use. Wheel of preparation tool, affirmation scripts can be used, goal setting is a tool, and habit tracking. So I think if our intention is to get better, we need to do it in an efficient manner as possible with a clear and detailed plan. So the plan is the tool. So it helps us learn, it helps us reflect, it helps us measure and track. So what are the tools? This journal is a tool. So what are the tools you use or want to develop in order to get better in a structured, consistent and strategic manner? You might need help developing these tools. You might have to ask your coach, but these tools are truly important if you want to improve your craft. So if you can't think of them at the top of your head at the minute, just take some time, look into it, look at the next video and come up with some simple tools. Preparation delivers success. I know that to be true, and practice is a really important area for every athlete. Application to collective practice and application to individual practice. So I'd like you to take a moment and I'd like to consider, what do you believe to be true around application to collective practice? What are some maxims or mantras? You get what you give. Hard work isn't easy, good players aren't lazy. Simple stuff around individual practice. What do you know to be true about it? Or what is your belief? You need to be focused. Your focus of attention is critical in all things during practice. Whatever. Again, you can see the example from this high-performing athlete. I just wanted you to be clear on how you want to apply yourself to individual and collective practice. Once you're clear on that, your actions become a lot simpler. How do you want to spend your time and energy? And I have a phrase here from a famous coach called John Wooden. He was a basketball coach, and if you get a chance, I would check him out. He had a phrase, he liked poetry because he was an English teacher, and he used to often talk in little poems and rhymes, and he said, there is a choice you have to make in everything that you do, so keep in mind that in the end the choice you make makes you. So we've choices of how we want to spend our time and energy, and it's always wise to make informed choices. So if we look at our values, go back to our values, that can guide us in how we want to spend our time and energy. And we can also go back to the first prompt where we asked the important areas of your life, like family, friends, study, wherever. How do you want to spend your time and energy? And I think that's a really important question to get good clarity on. And then you can do things in time, like a time audit. Where am I spending my time and energy? And does that align to my values and what's important to me and my identity and all that? So for now, I would just say, write a simple sentence or two about how you want to spend your time and energy. You can see again the example from the high performance athlete, and that might help you, or else you might just decide to write down yourself your own simple ideas. Definitions are useful. They bring clarity, and excellence is something we're all striving for. So I want you to take a few moments and reflect on what excellence means to you. Gather your thoughts and write down a definition of what is excellence. Once you have that, it's very easy to compare your behaviours and actions and see where you are with the standard of behaviour you have with regards to where excellence is. Again, you can see the example from the high performing athlete, what they think excellence is. But again, this is about you. And again, it won't be perfect. Write down something, and as you go along, you might change and evolve, might refine. Again, we're on to definitions. This time we're looking at commitment. What does it look like to be committed? How could you define commitment? What does someone who's committed to their sport, to their craft, look like? Take some time, think about it, and coin your own definition of what is commitment. Again, you can see the example from the high performing athlete, what they think commitment looks like, but again, it's more about you. So take your time and reflect on that. So success, what is it? What does it mean to you? What does it look like to be successful? How can you define it? We can only control what we can control. There's a lot of stuff we can't control. There's some stuff we can definitely influence, but what does it look like to be successful for you? So what is success? Again, all these definitions like excellence, commitment and success, and a lot of what we've done will be interweaving with what's important to you and your values and what type of teammate. They're all one and the same in many, many ways, but we're trying to look at the same or similar things from a different perspective. So I think this is the final prompt. We just have one more where you can add anything else you want, and we'll look at that one now. So this is the final one, and again, it's not even, none of it is mandatory, but this is definitely not a mandatory one. It's just anything else you'd like to add. Again, I try to provide a really comprehensive list of prompts that will give us a comprehensive overview of who we are and who we want to be. That's why it's called This Is Me. But if there's something, a phrase, a thought, a mantra that you'd like to throw in, just feel free. I then think it is important to sign it, and it is important to date it. And the reason for signing is you're signing your name to something because you're going to stand over that. You're dating it because it's a moment in time and you will be evolving and changing. Again, throughout the process, at the end, there is another This Is Me. So we're always reflecting and always going back. Each day in the prompts, you're often asked to review and revert back to different sections of This Is Me. As you review and reflect on them, if you want to change it, change it. And that's kind of it. Look it, sign it, and try and live it, date it, and go for it, and be the best you can be. And I wish you well. Thank you.